All right. Good day, everyone. Welcome to the second episode of the TechLens series, Introduction to Cybersecurity Infrastructure. Together with our speakers, we aim to address the most common challenges and discuss the best industry practices when implementing your cybersecurity infrastructure. After this talk, we want you to be equipped with the knowledge to understand the importance of having a security framework in place and take action to safeguard your data and your organization from cyber threats. So, before we get started, let me introduce our speakers. First, we have Kiran Kumar, Senior Cloud Solution Architect at Microsoft. Kiran has more than 15 years of experience in the software industry and is currently one of the Microsoft's cloud solution architects in Singapore. He is skilled in Microsoft, Symantec, and IBM security and mobility solutions. He is also looking at Windows Server, cloud computing, virtualization, Windows installer, and system development. Next up, we have Dilan Veerasinghe, Senior Consultant, Cloud and Information Infrastructure at TechOne Global. Dilan is an information technology specialist mainly focused on Microsoft technologies, including pre-sales, cloud computing, IT security, and cybersecurity. His IT industry experience and strong computer science background encouraged him to become an advocate to design feasible solutions to enterprise businesses. All right, now that I have introduced all our speakers, I'd like to warmly welcome both of you to this webinar. Hi, Kiran. Hi, Dylan. How are you guys
Hey, hi, Risha.
good doing
Thanks for having us
today?
here.
And thank you for being with us. Um, and it's good to know that we're going to have a very in-depth conversation coming up. So before delaying it any further, I'd like to jump into the first question. But before I do, let me just give a small background to what we're going to talk today. So cybersecurity has become very difficult over time, right? And then we've noticed that it is not going to get any easier in time as well. As more organizations are moving to from physical office to remote work, we are also exposing our organization towards collaboration apps and solutions to ensure productivity, right? So this does not come without any consequences, whereas we are also opening our infrastructure to certain security risks. So to get started with, I'd like to direct the first question towards Dylan, right? Dylan, what kind of digital security threats are out there? How harmful are they to organizations? Can you briefly explain to us?
Yeah. Thank you, Radhika, and thanks for having me here. So there are a lot of threats out there and in many forms. So, but we can identify most important threats like malware, ransomware attacks, and phishing attacks, and man-in-the-middle attacks, and trojans and DDoS attacks. So a successful cyber attack can cause major damage to the business. So it can affect your bottom line as well as your business standing and consumer trust. So impact of security breach can be broadcast divided into three categories. So mainly financial and reputation and legal. So when it comes to the financial, the cyber attack can often result to substantial financial losses arising from theft of corporation information and theft of financial information like bank details and payment card details. So theft of money and disruption of trading, so inability to carry out online transactions, say, and loss of businesses or contracts, or like that the business that suffered from a cyber breach will also generally incur cost of associated with the hardware and affect the systems and network devices as well. So when it comes to the reputational damage, of course, trust is an essential element of customer relationship. Cyber attack can damage your business reputation and erase the trust you have earned with your customers. And this is in turn could potentially lead to like loss of customers, uh, loss of sales, and reduction of profit because of those two. And affect the reputational damage can even impact your suppliers as well. So affect relationship with those parties and investors and the other third-party investors of your business. Finally, the legal side. So the legal consequences is data protected and privacy laws can require you manage to cybersecurity at all personal data in whole and whether your staff or your customers. If the data is accidentally or deliberately compromised, you have failed to deploy the security measures. You may face fine and regulatory sanctions. So it's like, especially when it comes to GDPR, so we can see a lot of regulations are there. So even we will have faced a lot of fines from it. So that's it actually. So meaning that those are the main risks I think when it comes to cyber attacks. Sure.
All right. Thanks for that, Dylan. Kiran, do you have anything to add in there? Do you want anything to share with us?
Yeah, sure, Ishika. I think Dylan touched upon most of the main important points, but outside of that, there are also top threats which are happening in today's scenario. Today, if you look at it, we are all in the pandemic situation, right? Everybody is working from home. COVID is something making all of us suffer. Not only from the regular day-to-day activities perspective, but also when we talk about the cyber threats or cyber attacks, there are a lot of COVID related cyber attacks are happening today. There are a lot of COVID applications, the malicious applications out there who are telling they are representing the World Health Organization, and they are telling that these applications actually provide a lot of good information about COVID, corona viruses, the information and so on, and they are convincing a lot of customers and users to go ahead and install those malicious applications on their own devices. So once those applications get installed, inside the devices, you can imagine what can happen. They can actually steal your personal information. They can steal your pictures, messages. They can, if there are any online transactions are done, even those can be easily taken out from your devices. So COVID is something. COVID themes or COVID cyber attacks is something, the top threat which are happening, right now. So a lot of customers and users should be very familiar. They need to ensure they understand what is a real email or what is a COVID related phishing email, which are coming into their inbox. There are not only applications, there are also COVID related phishing attacks which are happening, especially on organizations. They come in as though they're selling some sanitizers, or they're selling some masks, or they're selling some COVID related medicines, and they are convincingly making users to go ahead and click on these links or open the attachments, in turn downloading a lot of malicious codes or applications onto their devices, right? So it's very important for customers to know these kind of threats. Outside of COVID, there are also a lot of top threats, like today the most common or the most threat is cryptojacking. We call this as cryptojacking, but this is also called as cryptocurrency mining, right? Today now, for for hackers to mine a Bitcoin, they require a huge resources. They require a huge processing resources from the servers or from your the machine. So what these hackers are doing is they're basically creating malwares and installing those malwares on on your laptops, on users laptops, on customers laptop, and using those resourcing processing capability to mine the Bitcoins. This in turn creates a severe damage for organizations because it slows down the entire organization's performances. It might even bring down some of the critical systems. So there might be downtime for IT. So that will be a huge cost for organizations as well. So apart from this, COVID is one, cryptojacking is one, ransomware attacks are like most common. They are also getting more sophisticated. So I think these are some of the top threats today's users, organizations should be most familiar with, and they need to have a defensive technologies and strategies in place.
Great. Thanks for that, Kiran, and also Dylan. Now that we are already in the topic of discussing what sort of security threats are out there, my next question to you, Dylan, would be what are the fundamentals of security for an organization? Where do people start? Please explain us.
Yeah, so we define the fundamental of security of an organization in different ways. So it's depend on how you see that on different security pillars or different angles. So, but as a general idea, I would say that the main thing is the confidentiality. It's about preventing the disclosure of your data onto unauthorized parties. So imagine your company or department data. So you should be able to access them, of course, and employees of your company or department who are working with you with those data should be able to access them, but no one else should. So a failure to maintain confidentiality means that someone who shouldn't have access has managed to get it uh, through intentional behavior or by accident. Such a failure of a confidentiality, commonly known as a breach. So typically, it cannot be remediated. Once that secret been revealed, there's no way to unreveal it. So in your company or department data are posted, let's say, on a public website. So everyone can know your company or department secret information by doing that. So, but it can't be like once they read that information from your website, so from a website, so it can't be erased from their mind. So if it is in a paper or computer or something, so we can erase, but from their mind we cannot erase. So nearly all the major security incidents reported in the media today involve the major loss of confidentiality. So we better use like MFA, so multi-factor authentication or monitor logs, and we need to place them mitigate this kind of thing. So there are some solutions we can implement to maintain this confidentiality, such as from Microsoft, it's Azure Information Protection and Cloud Security. So the other one is the integrity. The integrity refers to protecting the information from being modified by unauthorized parties, or that information is not altered. So and the other then the source of that information is genuine. Imagine that you have a website to sell products on that site. So now imagine an attacker can shop your website and maliciously alter the prices of your product, so that they can buy anything whatever the price they choose. So that would be a failure of integrity because of your information. In this case, the prices of the product has been altered, but you didn't authorize it. But another example of failure of integrity is when you try to connect to a website and a malicious attacker can attacker between you and the website redirect the traffic to the different website. In this case, it's such you are directed is not a genuine one. So normally we refer to that as the man in the middle attack. And the other one is the third one is the availability. So it's making sure that the authorized parties can access the data whenever they need, but only authorized parties. Let's say if attacker is not able to compromise those two elements I have mentioned earlier, so they definitely come into this attack to this availability. So they may try to execute attack like denial of service, that will bring down the server, so making the website unavailable or to legitimate users due to lack of availability. So the final and the most important thing is the user awareness and education. So what's the biggest risk to organization information security? Like definitely it's a little thing to do with the technology, but it's of course the users or the humans. So the human error has become the major weak point today. So the one that is easily exploited by the cyber criminal. In fact, almost 90% of cyber attacks are caused by human errors or behavior. So therefore, it's a vital that business have some form of cybersecurity training in place, educate employees to the importance of the protecting sensitive information and what malicious tests look like out for. So a known example when when someone, let's say, receive an email with their new password from an individual claiming to be from IT department. So when the recipient responds that you have compiled the change, the password, the hacker can strike. Now they're like, unfortunately, this is only one of countless various out there. So hackers even now even begin to do them over the phone actually. So the scariest element of the phishing attacks. So those are the 4 things I see the important.
Great. Thank you for sharing the insights with us, Dilan. I'd like to turn towards Kiran. What is your take on this, Kiran? I'm sorry, Kiran. I think
Oh, I'm so
we
sorry.
could not get you.
Sorry,
You,
I think I was.
yeah.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I was excited to go ahead and answer the question, but I didn't realize it was on mute. Right, sorry for that. I was just mentioning that Dylan was actually touched upon all the key points: confidentiality, integrity, availability. These are some of the must-have solutions for any customers in today's scenarios. But apart from that, like when we talk about fundamentals, this is about having the basics right. I mean, you need to have all the right things in place in order to protect yourself. Now, Dylan mentioned that you need to have a MFA, multi-factor authentication. That is a must-have solution for any customer in order to protect their identities, right? Most of the attacks happens through identity. So if you can have a multi-factor authentication, it is proven that my MFA can actually stop 99.9% of your identity attacks, right? So that has to have happen inside the organization, at least for your senior management or for your administrator accounts. You need to have MFA solution. That is the most fundamental thing. The second thing is ensure you have minimum privileges given to the users, and then only give them admin privileges when they require it, right? Make sure they all run at the lowest access inside the organization with limited privileges. Then ensure you're using only secure protocols like HTTPS instead of HTTP, right? So it's basically more secure. And use more encryption solutions when you're actually doing online transactions, that will actually protect your data in terms of confidentiality and integrity, right? Ensure you monitor your entire network, keep looking at logs for any irregularities, and ensure there is periodic auditing or some kind of assessment, VA assessment, vulnerability assessment, or security assessments are happening inside your network, so that what's happening inside your organization. Yeah, I think these are some of the fundamentals. There are many to talk about, but at a very high level, I think these are some of the important stuff. Most of the customers should use it, Rishika.
Great. Thank you for sharing that with us, Kiran. Now that we are on the same line of talking about where we can start with these cybersecurity framework for organizations, my next question for you, Kiran, would be please give us an overview of Microsoft's cybersecurity pillars that you can explain to our viewers today.
Yeah, sure. Let me quickly, share my screen, and then, share some slides, so that, the people can see it, what I'm talking about. So let me know once you can see it, Rishika.
Sure.
Can you see it?
Yep. Yeah, we can go ahead.
Okay. Okay, awesome. So when it comes to Microsoft's cybersecurity, right? So there are we have the most comprehensive security solutions in the market. We are one of the largest security vendors. Nobody knows about it. A lot of customers think Microsoft is not even a security company, but today we are one of the largest security company in the market. That is, I will prove it to you in just a couple of slides. But even before I get into that, there is something I would like to tell our viewers today, that Microsoft is committed for security. Security is one of our top priority, and we are committed to provide world-class solutions for our customers. And this commitment is actually coming directly from our CEO, Satya Nadella. Now, what he says is like, is here. This is his quote. And with this quote, Microsoft also started investing $1 billion on an annual basis just on research and development purpose for cybersecurity solutions. So that's the power of Microsoft, right? I mean, we can invest, and this $1 billion is usually a revenue for a lot of small cybersecurity vendors in the market. That's their annual revenue. But for Microsoft, it's an investment to develop solutions. Now, with that kind of commitment and money, like, this is what Microsoft has built it. So what you're seeing here is a Microsoft cybersecurity reference architecture, and this entire solution is basically talking about end-to-end Microsoft security solutions. Okay, now a lot of viewers might be thinking, what are they looking at? This looks so complex, right? And this doesn't even cover the third-party security solutions, what they use today in their organization, right? Now, I have a news flash for all our viewers. That the news flash is that cybersecurity is complex. There is no single silver bullet for all the attacks and threats which are happening out there. You need multiple solutions to protect your use case scenarios, your multiple use case scenarios, right? Now, just to touch upon, right, now this is the Microsoft cybersecurity reference architecture. And if you look at it, Microsoft actually built a lot of security solutions in terms of, if you look at from the endpoint perspective, today Microsoft holds a lot of platforms, right? So Windows as a platform belongs to Microsoft. Endpoint or server, it's all Windows. Windows 10 Enterprise is our latest operating system, and Windows Server 2019 is our latest server operating system, right? And these two belongs to Microsoft, right? So you can actually see it here. And we have Office 365 as our own platform, and we also have the cloud as our own platform in terms of Microsoft Azure. Within this, we have SaaS, software as a service, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service. So Microsoft holds a lot of these platforms, right? I mean, you talk about Exchange servers or SQL, these are all belongs to Microsoft as a solution. So one of the strategy for Microsoft today is that, when we hold so many platforms, and these platforms are used by our customers today in their environment, Microsoft naturally has to become a platform vendor for them in order to provide the cybersecurity solutions, right? Because we hold so many different platforms. Now, that is one of the strategy for Microsoft cybersecurity. Now, we want to become a platform vendors for most of our customers instead of a point solution. For example, if a customer needs an antivirus solution, today they look at companies like Symantec or Trend Micro or Kaspersky, right? If they need a CASB solution, they might look at Symantec CASB, or they might look at FireEye or Checkpoint CASB. If they need email security, they look at FireEye or Symantec Secure Email Gateways, right? So they choose multiple different providers, vendors, and that will also add a lot of vendor complexity for them. It doesn't simplify the security. So this is where Microsoft is coming in, and Microsoft is telling, we have an end-to-end solutions for you. When we talk about protecting your endpoints, your laptops, your devices, we have solution like Windows 10 Enterprise. Then within that, we have a lot of security solutions built into the operating system itself. So including the antivirus. Today, Defender antivirus and anti-malware is free for all Windows 10 users. So if you are running a Windows 10 professional, Windows Defender antivirus is free, and it's proven to be the best antivirus solution. Even Gartner talks about it. There are a lot of research, vendors that did some research, real-time testing, and then they rated Defender antivirus to be one of the best antivirus solution. And if you're running Windows 10, it's comes free for you. You don't need any kind of third-party solutions, right? Then for advanced protection, we have Windows Defender ATP here with the EDR capability, endpoint detection and remediation, right? So this will actually stop attacks, pre-breach, post-breach detections are available. So with this, you can actually stop all the advanced attacks which are entering in your organization. To manage your multiple devices like iOS or Android or MacBooks, right? So we have Intune as our mobile device management, mobile application management solution. And when customers are actually using Office 365 today, they are naturally falls under hybrid cloud infrastructure, because now they will have their own network perimeter here, but then they are also started using the cloud solutions like Office 365 or G Suite or even Salesforce, ServiceNow, Google Drive, Box Drive. So naturally they fall under hybrid cloud infrastructure. And now when they are in hybrid cloud infrastructure, they need a solution which can actually protect their identities, to protect their username and passwords, give them visibility, right? So Microsoft today has a very, very strong identity and access management solution. And under that, we have many solutions which can actually help you meet your scenarios, your use case scenarios, and protect your users, right? So multi-factor authentication is part of identity and access management. We have a very innovative solution called identity protection, which can actually tell you what is happening to your users, who is accessing Office 365. So today, if a customer has an Office 365, the employees can actually log into Office 365 even without coming into their corporate network. They don't need to come to office every day, right? All they need is an device with an internet connection, and then they can actually access Office 365 inbox, directly, just with an internet. So that's what cloud provides, right? That's a flexibility they get it. But what about the security, right? How will IT team knows that which user is logging into Office 365, what date and time, what devices is he using? What if his device is infected with malware or a virus or a Trojan, or is iOS or an Android device is rooted or jailbroken, right? So that is devices are not safe to access a corporate application like Office 365, right? So solutions like identity protection will actually tell you who is the user who is actually accessing Office 365 without even coming inside your network. And then from where is he accessing, from which country is he accessing? Is there an impossible travel profile? That means somebody logged in from Sri Lanka, right? And right after 10 minutes, there is a new connection coming in for the same user's inbox from Australia, right? We all know that it is impossible for somebody to travel from Sri Lanka to Australia in 10 minutes, right? So that we call it as impossible travel profile. But today it is possible because, once the identity gets compromised, many users, there can be different connections using the same same username and password from different countries, right? Technically it's possible because all they need is a username and password to log into Office 365. So there is a big security risk here, and that is where solutions like identity protection will come in handy. And then it will tell you, give a visibility to a customer, telling your user's identity is compromised. There is a connection coming in from Australia, Russia, US for the same user. And that means this is a clear suspicious activity and the username and password has been compromised, right? So it can actually give you this kind of visibility. Then to protect the data which is sitting in Office 365 or even in any other cloud applications, right, or in users devices, you need a strong data protection solutions, right? Today, a lot of customers embrace DLP as one of the solution. Yes, DLP is a good solution, but what if the data is actually sitting in the cloud storage in OneDrive or Google Drive, and your employees are actually sharing externally with just creating a link, right? So today you can share data with just an external link, and then those who have those links can be accessed from anywhere because everything is sitting on the cloud. So customers today need a strong information protection solution in order to protect the data which is running on the cloud, which is running on endpoints, which is running on those the multiple devices, in Office 365 environment, in file repositories, in NAS boxes. So you need a solution which can actually protect from all these different data sources. So that is where Microsoft comes in with the information protection bundle. And then we have a very, very good comprehensive data protection solution. Okay. Then the threat protection, right? So how do you defend from viruses, malwares, trojans, advanced attacks? This is something a lot of customers been doing it from years. Most of the times they will have a antivirus, anti-malware solution, but for today's scenario that is not enough. You need more advanced solutions in place. So that is where Microsoft comes in, and then we have all these threat related solutions like Azure Security Center, Cloud App Security, Microsoft Defender ATP, Office 365 ATP, Azure ATP. This is another pillar which can actually come in and then help you to fight with all these threats. Okay, so these are some of the things. There are a lot more to talk about it, Rishika, but let me just give you one more view of the same slide. When we talk about the pillars, these are the 4 pillars for Microsoft. And we have identity and access management, which will actually help protect users' identities and then control all the authentications and authorizations for an organization. And this is where the solutions which will actually come in handy. These are some of the few, not everything under identity access management, but there are more solutions as part of it, but these are the most famous ones. For threat protection, these are the solutions what we have. For information protection, these are the solutions which actually comes in handy. And for cloud security or security management, like we have these solutions which comes in handy. So these are top 4 pillars for Microsoft, which can actually help customers in bringing in the right solution. So this tells us that Microsoft today has an end-to-end solutions, very, very comprehensive, in order to protect their users, their devices, their data, the cloud applications, the data which is sitting on cloud applications, to fight with all the threats, attacks, everything. Does that sound good, Rashika?
Yes, I think that is pretty much clear for us. You gave us a wonderful overview of cybersecurity pillars from Microsoft. As you clearly mentioned, Microsoft is also identified as the leader in security in the Gartner's Magic Quadrant. Now that we are in the
Yeah.
same line of topic, please tell us or explain us how Microsoft help organizations to secure their environments, and how or why they help these organizations.
Yeah, sure. I mean, if you look at today, I just taken you through all the, at a very high level, not detailed though, the kind of solutions we have and the kind of innovations Microsoft is doing. And this is not the end of it, right? This is just a beginning for Microsoft. And today we already have 30 to 40 different cybersecurity solutions which are available for our customers from an end-to-end perspective, right? Now, this is where a lot of customers today had a perception that Microsoft is not a cybersecurity company, right? So let me bring up my slide again, and then I'll share what Gartner talks about Microsoft and what are the other solutions what we have, and how does that help customers, right? Now, sorry, I think let me show my Gartner slide. So this is Gartner's Magic Quadrant, and if you look at it today, Microsoft is leaders in access management. This is where identity and access management comes into picture. We are leaders in cloud security brokers, endpoint protection, and platforms. This is where antivirus, anti-malware, and ADP functionality comes in. We are the number one here. We are above CrowdStrike, Symantec, or Trend Micro Solutions. And when it comes to archiving, we are again here. And then when it comes to UEM, endpoint device management, endpoint management, we are again the leaders. So this is some credibility for our solutions, for our innovations, and for our investments. So this is where Gartner is telling that, we are not only the best of the platform providers today. There is no other vendor in the market who can actually provide a platform, a cybersecurity platform like Microsoft, on an end-to-end perspective, right? Not only the customers get the best platform, but also they get the best of the breed technologies, right? I mean, today customers wants the best of the best solutions to be there to protect their environment, right? That is why they go when it comes to defender when it comes to endpoint protection, they might choose whoever is in the leaders, Gartner Magic Quadrant, they only choose them. And then for email, again, there will be a different vendor, they will go with them. So that adds up to a lot of vendor complexity, as I just mentioned. But with Microsoft, you get both sides. You get best of the platform as well as best of the point solution, best of the breed the solutions as well. Now, this is where, end-to-end solutions I was talking about. So if you look at this slide, it basically talks about end-to-end solutions, okay, what we have today. So if you start counting these, it will actually easily go up to 30 to 40 solutions. What does that mean? That means today, Microsoft can actually significantly reduce your security vendors, with whom you have invested. You don't need to maintain, manage, do renewals and all those headaches for multiple security vendors. You can have two or three vendors, and you can actually use most of the world-class Microsoft end-to-end security solutions here, which can actually replace your DLP solutions, your antivirus solutions, your email security gateway solutions, your cloud security solutions, your firewall solutions, when it comes to software firewall, all those stuff. I want to give you a small example. This is where you look at it, for stopping the phishing emails, or stopping the malicious links. Today, a lot of customers have solutions like Symantec. And to protect their endpoints from exploits from devices contacting command and control center, they either go with CloudStrike or FireEye solutions. And to protect their network, especially with uh, user account compromised or privileged account compromised or lateral movements, they basically go with solutions like CyberArk or Exabeam, right? And for identity, to protect or to have an identity federation, they do a very costly investment in terms of Okta. And then for cloud security, for stopping or getting the visibility of cloud or CASB solutions, they go with Netscope. Now, this would actually, we're talking about, this is a common scenario any customer would have. They need an email protection, they need endpoint protection, they need network protection, they need identity protection, they also need cloud protection. And they actually embrace with these many different solutions. This would actually add up to the vendor complexity, right? And this would actually bring them the big TCO, total cost of ownership, is huge, and return on investment is very, very less. When it comes to Microsoft, you can actually have end-to-end Microsoft solutions. You can see that for email, we have Office 365 ATP. For endpoint, we have Defender ATP. Azure Identity Protection will replace the Okta. Azure ATP will actually replace the Netscope or Exabeam kind of solutions, right? CASB again. So you have end-to-end solutions from Microsoft, wherein you can immediately replace about 5 or 6 vendors, and this will actually lower your total cost of ownership, and it will also bring a good return on investment, right? So there are a lot of cost saving for customers. And the best part of these solutions are, like, it is integrated to each other. That means today Office 365 ATP can talk to Defender ATP, Defender ATP can actually talk to CASB, Cloud App Security, and they can exchange information, and then they can actually protect each other. They can pass the signals, ensure if there are any threats detected by Defender ATP, it will immediately tell Office 365 ATP that there is a threat detected, and this is the threat details. And Office 365 will ensure that those threats are removed from all users' inbox automatically, right? So this is why today Gartner actually rating Microsoft as one of the leaders in most of the solutions, right? And it is also telling that from vendor complexity perspective, it will actually save a lot of cost for our customers.
All right. Thank you for sharing that wonderful insight with us, Kiran. Um, I think you also explained how Microsoft and Office 365 and Azure also play a big role when it comes to acting as a security leader in the industry. Uh, I would like to direct the next question towards Dilan. While Microsoft is also helping organizations to secure their environments, um, how can this security framework can be set up, or this how can they create this strategy? What are the best practices that you can share with our audience today? If you can just explain it to us with case studies, that would be great.
Yeah, so here the Kiran has showed the architecture, and those are the right solution for you must have. That's how Microsoft is helping now our customers in data in terms of data and cybersecurity. So as Kiran mentioned that in the previous slide, so we saw that when it comes to customer scenario, customer doesn't have to manage lot of vendors. So he with one stop he can with single point of contact he can do the deploy manage every solution for when it comes to the cyber security and data security. So that kind of product line the Microsoft has, and that kind of a solution the Microsoft has, and especially with Microsoft we can help customers to build their trust in cybersecurity and their protection with the in terms of cybersecurity. So, and the TechFund have been doing this solution for our customers and been in the industry and have a lot of experience. And we have certified expert for each area, especially for the cybersecurity. And we also have invested a lot of in computer trainings and everything. So I think we actually we going hand in hand with Microsoft, so we can give solutions to our customer when it's come to this Microsoft and all solution. So as I can remember a solution, so I can remember solution where we have implement for one of our customer, but I cannot mention the name here because it's not a thing. So there is this customer who is distributing some document with company information with outside parties for sales and marketing purpose. So, but the customer wanted to prevent the misusing those information by those parties and prevent distributing those information after the finishing that marketing activity. So we know that after that particular marketing activity, those information is not relevant, so that should be expired. So what we did was, so when after the request come to us, what we did was we needed to get into the lay of the land and the find out where we susceptible to an information sharing could happen or possible misusing of that usage of that shared data. So we could prioritize what technology to identify and implement for this kind of a thing. So knowing our vulnerabilities and managing them to protect our information, especially our customers' information from being hacked or misused, was key to building an innovative or cutting edge foundation for customers deserve. So in that way, so we have identified the correct solution for this is Azure Information Protection, AIP. So using AIP, we managed to give the solution for our customers. So and the AIP has like a features like the classify your data based on sensitivity and the protect your data at all time and the visibility and control. And the most important thing is the track. You can track activities on shared data and revoke those if necessary. So we can put a revoking date like expiration date, and we can track where is this document is now in. So we can get a broader view where is the document is now. So the IT man can use like a helpful login. There are some logins and reporting mechanism and monitor analyzing for this kind of a data. So we using that Azure AIP, so we managed to give the solution to customers. The customers was very happy. So the biggest headache for their marketing department has went away after that implementation. So then and they can revoke their documents after that marketing activities. That's what they were actually mainly focusing on. So when it's come to best practices, actually the most important thing is the implement correct security solution at correct time and correct place. So we need to be keep in mind that. And the other one is as I mentioned in earlier questions. So there have been an user education and awareness. That's one of the most important thing, and always up to date with everything. So if you're not up to date, you will be putting your entire security or information system at a risk. So that should be there. So those are the three major best practices I have identified. But within those three, there are a couple of things, and without those practices, you are always at a risk. Kiran, if you have
Yeah,
anything to
sure,
add, Kiran.
Dilan. I think good that you brought up the real customer case studies. This is very important for our viewers to understand what Tech One Global can do for them, right? In terms of expertise, today there is a severe shortage in the cybersecurity professionals, and we don't have people who can actually implement the right security solutions. They don't even understand what does it take to become a cybersecurity professional, right? I mean, there is a huge shortfall, and having a partner like Tech One in Sri Lanka is really a bless for a lot of our customers out there. I know I worked with Tech One Global in the past, where you guys have done some amazing projects, deployed a lot of good security solutions from Microsoft to your customers. So happy to see them. Apart from what you just mentioned, a couple of best practices I would like to propose, or rather give to our viewers, is that when it comes to security, especially in this today's scenario, right, where we are all working from home due to pandemic. So that means we are all connecting remotely to our corporate environment, be it on premises or be it to our cloud applications. Remote connectivity is must, right? And everybody is coming through internet now. What Microsoft suggests is that, when you are in this kind of situation, especially in a hybrid cloud environment where you have a lot of third party on-premises applications as well as cloud applications, the first strategy or the first best practices is to ensure you have a strong identity protection. Implement multi-factor authentication. Use the latest trends like zero trust. This is very, very important, because when it comes to zero trust, uh, uh, the technology itself tells that, no matter whether the user is internal or external, right, you have to verify it. It's a zero trust. We don't trust any user, any connection, any device. We will verify it, and then only access will be allowed to corporate applications, right? So these are some great new trends, technologies which are coming up, new ideas, in fact, for you to implement. So please have a look at these kind of new technologies and then try and implement it, because these are the ones which can actually help you protect from cyber attacks. So have a strong identity and access management. That is the first strategy for you to improve your security posture or have a security in place. Second is have a strong, good strategy to protect your data, whether it is on the cloud, on premises, on users' endpoints. you need to have solutions which can actually protect your corporate data, right? It's all about data. It's all about your data is in the form of intellectual property, right? I mean, your IPs are all in the form of data. And this data, if it's a bank, your customers account information, credit card is most critical for you. If it is manufacturing company, it is your product designs, your research, your latest developments. These are your intellectual property, right? So data can be in many form, and protecting these data, you need right solutions in place. And for that, there is no one single solution. You need to have multiple solutions, and for that, you need to be aware of what are those solutions which can actually help you, in protecting your data, your intellectual property, right? Then goes the third one is the third strategy where Microsoft recommends is having a strong threat protection strategy. This is where our pillars also come in. So we have a lot of threat protected protection related solutions like Defender ATP. I spoke about. We have Azure ATP, Office 365 ATP, Cloud App Security. We also have Azure Security Center, and the latest one from Microsoft is Azure Sentinel. This is our SIEM solution, Security Incidents Events Management, which can actually give you a single pane of glass to look at all your entire network in your entire organization's network environment in one place, and then see what kind of suspicious activities are happening, anomalies which are happening, the cyber attacks which are happening inside your environment. So Sentinel can actually connect to many different solutions, be it Microsoft or third party solutions. It can actually connect, get the logs, and then it will do a correlation. It will do a threat exploration and then tell you, it gives you a dashboard telling what's happening inside your network. So these are some of the solutions which you need to have it in place in order to protect, detect from all the cyber attacks which are happening today. That's it from me, Rishika.
Great. Thank you, Kiran. I think we are almost coming towards the end of this session today. Time indeed flew really fast. I didn't even feel 50 minutes
Yeah.
going that fast. Before we wrap it up, I would also like to get your takeaways for today's audience before we end the session. So, Dylan, why don't we start with you and then we move to Kiran?
Yeah, as Kiran and myself both mentioned, as I mentioned in my best practices, the most important thing is to implement the correct solutions and identify them and where it needs to be placed, and without getting delayed. So you need to identify the solution and place it. The other one is the user awareness and administrator training. So without those human training, so you will be always at a risk, especially with when it's come to ransomwares. So most of the ransomwares we know attack with the human errors. So I think those are the things we need to more focus on. So the implement the correct solution at correct timing and correct place. And the other one is the user awareness and the training. So I think Kiran may have more things to add.
Sure. Can I go ahead, Rishika?
Yes, please.
Okay, awesome. So one of the key takeaways is Microsoft always telling our customers and partners that you should always have a mindset of assume you're breached. Today's scenario, there are only two possibilities for any customer, right? Or even for that matter, any user. Uh, Either you have hacked, right, or you are going to be hacked. These are the only two possibilities, right? You don't know how attackers can come in. They are very sophisticated, they are very, very smart. So as an organization, you should always have a mindset that either you have hacked, and when you have hacked, what are the immediate things, necessary things you need to take care in order to protect yourself, right? Or you will be going to be hacked, and if that happens, then how can you protect your organization, right? So these are the only two possibilities today, and I would request all our viewers, customers, whoever is listening to this, have this kind of mindset, and then go with this kind of mindset so that you can actually be prepared very well when attack actually happens, right? So preparation is needed, You don't know how the attacks can come in. It looks legitimate, but when you actually click on the link, then it becomes suspicious, and you don't know right after you clicking on the link what happens to your machine. And it can get hidden, and the machine gets into the network. They can actually do lateral movement, then they do a data exfiltration. So there are a lot of possibilities can happen. There are a lot of damages can happen. So ensure what are the necessary steps you need to take today before you get hacked, right? That would actually help you protect it, right? So that's it, Rishika, from me.
Great. Thank you, Dilan and Kiran, for sharing those valuable insights with us. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have left today. However, if you have any queries still left unanswered, you can just send them to aliana at techoneglobal.com, and we'll be sure to get to them. Now, before we go, we also want to make sure if you have any questions on how you can build cybersecurity framework, you can book a one-to-one consultation with TechOne Global. You're also being provided with a complimentary security workshop as well. Um, just email if you're interested, just email it to aliana@techoneglobal.com, and one of our experts will get in touch with you. Yeah, that's it. Thank you everyone for turning in today and listening to us, and hope you were able to get a lot of information through our experts here today. Have a good day and stay safe, and we hope to see you in our next events. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Stay safe.
Thank you all.